Scotland's only major air show of the year, the International Ayr Show Festival of Flight, returns this September with a lineup of unexpected aviation gems. It all starts on Friday with a 2-hour evening show that features the Red Arrows, Typhoon, BBMF and Airborne Pyrotechnics. And on Saturday, a full-length flying programme that features true air show rarities, C-130s from Canada and America, an extra 330 from France's world-beating competition aerobatics unit, the Équipe de Voltige, and an elusive airshow appearance by a Royal Navy Merlin, among others.
Hello everyone and welcome to Ayr. Welcome to the International Ayr Show Festival of Flight here up on the west coast of Scotland, and welcome to Plains TV's coverage. Looking forward to bringing you all the live action tonight for what could be a very pretty evening flying display, and back again tomorrow at 1 p.m. We're live on YouTube. We're also live on our streaming service watch.plainstv.com ad-free. You might be able to hear the voice of Joe McGrath. He'll be our airshow commentator through the main show itself. I thought I'd give you a welcome as Managing Director of Plains TV to say a big warm welcome and thank you for joining us at Ayr. Team as well is Matt inside at the moment, but I'm going to kick him up top for a bit of camera work, and the old man Adrian is here as well as our three-man team up here in Ayr. We're really looking forward to it. The conditions are good. I was a little while ago, I had a little run through and I was saying I might look like I've got lots of layers on, but the weather's actually quite nice. I've gradually zipped up coats and done the Velcro up and gradually insulated myself more and more as the temperature's starting to drop, but we do have a bit of brightness still in the sky. I look for these things, you see. I'm into the video side, into the how photogenic things are. This at the moment is a lovely backdrop for what promises to be a lovely flying display. I should run you through what we're likely to see. We've started a little bit early. Red Arrows are due to kick off at 25 minutes past 6, so a little way to go, and they'll be followed by the RF Falcons. Got the tutor display, Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, then the French Air Force with the extra 330, the Typhoon at 8 o'clock, just as the sun's sort of going down over the hills in our backdrop here. And then Airborne Pyrotechnics, some proper pyro display later on at 25 minutes past 8. So a lovely evening flying display to come for us tonight. And then tomorrow, 1 o'clock, similar displays, but much more besides. I won't run you through all of those. I'll save that for tomorrow. But yeah, suffice to say, a big warm welcome. Nice to see so many of you in the chat. I can see Chris has joined us, our wonderful moderator. Thank you, Chris, for hopping on the stream. I hope the kitties come in at some point. I saw someone say, Christine, I think, say they were feeling a bit tired. Well, Christine, hang on. We've got a good few hours of action to come your way. I was up at 5 this morning and I empathise, but yeah, we've got to stick it out through to the end tonight. Yeah, good to see so many of you joining. Fantastic. JRX Plays asks if there's going to be random adverts through the stream. Well, they're maybe on YouTube. YouTube inserts those, but as I say, we're ad-free on our streaming service, watch.plainstv.com. That brings me around to one of the things I wanted to talk about. So our streaming service is where we distribute some of our pay-to-view streams and our back catalogue of programmes. Plains TV's been running previously as Aviation Action, but we've been running since the late 80s. So we've got loads of archive of air shows dating back all those years. I've got 3 I want to talk about that we've released just in the last month. They're all from this season. And the first one is Ayr, the 40th anniversary of Petula Aguila, down in Spain, and Adam popped down there to see the event, a magnificent event, and here's a little highlights video of what's in that programme.
On the 15th of June 2025, the beaches of San Javier played host to one of the biggest air shows in recent years, as a long and illustrious chapter in Spain's aviation history came to a close. The country's national aerobatic team, Patria Aguila, marked their 40th anniversary and performed their last ever display on the C-101 Aviojet, the final time the team will ever fly a jet-powered aeroplane. The event was claimed to be the largest air show ever held in Spain, with 5 jet aerobatic teams in attendance. It was the biggest such gathering seen anywhere in the world since 2018, a feat that may never again be equalled. Ayr 25 may well have drawn the biggest single-day crowd of the entire airshow season, with in excess of 400,000 people turning out to watch an event that offered more than just a flying display, but also the chance to be part of aviation history, as the Spanish Air Force's 70-year history of jet formation aerobatics came to a close.
Quite jealous of Adam heading down for that show. Wonderful to see so many air forces, so many display teams joining in those celebrations of the 40th anniversary of Petula Aguila. We're very much looking forward to seeing it. Sad to see the jet go, but very much looking forward to seeing the PC-21 display in due course. So that was one of the shows we've covered this year. We've obviously, I'm sure many of you tuned in for our Royal International Air Show coverage back in July. Adam and I, we've done a few less live streams this year, but more getting out there to interesting events that we think you'll enjoy watching sort of highlights programs of. It's almost back to the DVD days where we go to many shows, release a DVD highlights program of it rather than a live broadcast. We're sort of heading back into those days, so giving ourselves opportunities to share with you events that maybe we can't take a full live broadcast team to. So that was the case with RA, and again another one now. Remind myself which one we're going to show you next. Actually, this is interesting. So with the big shows like Air Tattoo and Lejno covered in June, they are absolutely mammoth shows, and for many people it's not possible to watch the whole thing, and we like to produce a highlights video. So as I say, a bit like the DVD days, for Air Tattoo we've been releasing a DVD Blu-ray type program, 2 hours long, highlights of the show, lots of onboard camera material, lots of behind the scenes material alongside the sort of main mix that we'd release live. Well, Lejno is much the same. So back in June, this event is absolutely awesome, and we live broadcast all the flying, some of the arrivals and rehearsals as well, but main show days Friday and Saturday. It's a show that starts round about this time, maybe a little bit earlier, and goes on really late into the evening with lots of pyros, lots of fireworks, and it's kind of reminiscent of the sky we'll see here as the sun starts to set. And we thought to tie back to the sort of scenario we have here in Scotland, and to tie back to Ayr, we'd share with you the wonderful NH90 display during the sunset at Lejno.
Spinning through 360 degrees, but with crisp hesitations, so it will be 90 degrees, stop, 90 degrees, stop, 180 degrees, stop. A full power climb to 700 feet, and then we shall see a nose over. There are two primary versions, the NFH, a specialised shipborne variant, and this one, the TTH, or Tactical Transport Helicopter, although it is designed to be highly versatile and customisable and adaptable to all NATO forces. Now into the hover and about to fly sideways along the showline with a speed of about 35 knots. A very challenging manoeuvre coming up next, a 360-degree turn flown entirely backwards.
was some gorgeous scenes of the NH90 there. I've just cut the clip a little bit early because Joe's interviewing Byron, an Australian very young, 15 years old pilot, who's just arrived in Prestwick last night on his very long journey. I thought we'd just share that interview with him.
So when I turned 13 years old, I booked my first flying lesson and it just took off from there.
Right, so you've been flying not just this Sling, but there was other aircraft. You did a flight around Australia, didn't you?
Yeah, so my training started in a Tecnam P92. Then I moved up to a Cessna 172 and then flew around Australia in a 172. And that was kind of like the beginning of it. Like my aviation began in a Tecnam P92, quickly moved up to a 172, and then here I am flying a TSI around the world. Like it moves pretty quick, yeah. Right, now when did you leave? You started in Brisbane. When did you leave? So yeah, we departed in Brisbane 2020. We departed Brisbane last month, 9th of August, and headed up towards, flew across Australia for a couple of days, and then Christmas Island. From Christmas Island, we hopped up through Asia, India, Sri Lanka, India, Middle East, and then we went through Egypt, then we hopped across Greece, Italy, and then here we are in the UK. Now, mate, I've got to say, I can't tell you enough. If you've ever done a flight to Australia, which I've done a few times, it's bad enough, okay, when you can sit and look at your screen and you can order a drink and, you know, you've got a waitress. But in a Sling, it's a two-seater or a four-seater? So it's built as a four-seater, but then we have taken the back seats out and put a fuel tank there. So it's technically a four-seater, but we've taken it out, so now it's a two-seater. And what's your cruising speed? We're cruising, depends on what our kind of our economy is doing, because sometimes we like to slow down a bit when we've got tailwinds, just save some fuel. So we're cruising roughly at about 130, 140 knots true airspeed. Right, so put that in context. You're doing about 130, 140 knots. When you and me are flying out to Australia, we're going at what, 300, 400? Yeah, normally like the airliner is going about 400 knots, sometimes 500, so yeah, it's pretty slow at the moment. So what is the longest leg that you've done? What's the most amount of time in one hop that you've done in that aircraft? So far, our longest flight's been about 10 hours or so. We had headwinds as well, so that made us a bit quite slow. But yeah, a whole 10-hour flight, and most of that was over water as well. But our longest flight's going to be about 14 hours from Monterey in America to Hawaii. And that one's quite terrifying because you got just water below you, nothing else, just a lot of nothing. Right, here's the question, mate. Yeah, right. You've done 10 hours in an aircraft with AJ sitting next to you. You need to go to the loo. What are you going to do? You're going to call Travel John. Sorry, John out there. If there's any Johns out there, I'm sorry, but there's a thing called a Travel John. And yeah, that's kind of what you got to do. Now, catering. What's catering like on board the Happy aircraft? What does it consist of? It's a highly balanced diet, I think. With your Crohn's disease, you can't just eat a bag of crisps and drink a pint of milk, can you? Yeah, mate. Well, it's definitely not a 5-star hotel, but like you've got some food. You can go to the server or something, grab something. But especially with Crohn's, it's quite hard to find something that you can eat, especially on long flights where you don't have a fridge or anything like that. Now, you're here in Prestwick. You've parked up in Prestwick. Thank you to Prestwick for looking after the aircraft. And the plan is that from here you're going to go up to Wick, yeah? Yeah. So hopefully this week sometime we can, this early next week or late this week, we can get across to Wick. And then from Wick, we're hoping to get across the North Atlantic crossing, which is going to be quite difficult, especially because of the aircraft we're flying, we're going to try and fly VFR as much as we can, because we kind of have to. But yeah, so it's going to be quite hard crossing the North Atlantic for the weather. It's quite inconsistent, but we've kind of chosen, we're a little bit late in the year to do it, but we've chosen a good time. Mate, I think you've got to qualify what you're doing. You're flying from Wick
to the Faroe Islands, then from the Faroe Islands to Iceland, from Iceland down to Greenland, from Greenland down to Goose Bay, and then you'll be in Canada, and then you can work your way down. So when you say I'm just striking out over you're going to be flying over icebergs and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we're going to be flying over a whole lot of ice, and it's actually quite the opposite. Iceland and Greenland. Greenland's icy and Iceland's greeny.
Greeny, is that a thing? And remember, all of this in a single Rotax engine aircraft. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to have a little chat with AJ, my old mate. AJ, now Andrew Johnson, head of Moorabbin Flying Services, as I said, down in Melbourne. I've been there myself. Great flying school if you want to do some flying in the guaranteed sun of Melbourne. No finer man. AJ, what are you doing? You're flying with this young man. How did this come about?
I'm still not sure. I was called last Tuesday night, I think it was, and said, can you get yourself over to Greece and pick up this aeroplane and pick up with Byron, and off I go.
So last Tuesday you got a call, and then now you're here in Scotland.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Only Aussies would be really that stupid, wouldn't they? Think about it. Imagine, oh yeah, let's just get in a single engine aircraft with a teenager, which is my idea of hell anyway, all right, having a teenager on a flight for like 2-3 months it's going to be?
We're hoping to be back in Oz in 6 weeks or so, 8 weeks, somewhere there. Weather dependent, but I just love being in an aeroplane, so I don't care where I am, I don't care what it is, as long as I'm flying.
Okay, sorry, we've got some red arrows coming through, they'll be along later. And seriously though, the flying side of it, mate, tell us a little bit about the aircraft, what mods you've done to it, how you're going to make these crucial, because this is the tough bit now, going over the top and into, once you get into America or Canada, it's a lot a bit easier. So what have you prepared for this side of the flying?
Look, the good thing with the Sling aircraft, it's got a rocket parachute in it. So in the event that things do go wrong, we don't have to actually land the aircraft per se on the water. It will actually glide down straight, so that there's no risk of the aircraft becoming inverted. We've got a life raft, we've got life jackets. We fly.
So forgive us for just bringing Byron's interview and AJ's interview to a slightly premature end. We are now gearing up for Red Arrows in just 13 minutes. So we've got some prep work we need to do, some last messages we need to get out to you. So forgive us for cutting that interview slightly short, but what an amazing achievement for Byron Waller there. 15 years old, round the world flight. Arrived at Presswick last night, and nice to be able to share some of that amazing story with you. So, as I say, just 10 minutes or so to go until the Red Arrows. Want to run through two other programs we've released on the streaming service in the last month. The most interesting one to me, I wish I'd been there, Old Buckenham, a relatively small airfield but a bigger and bigger air show. Adam went along to see what that was all about. Here's a little taste of that programme.
The Old Buckenham Ayr Show has become a much-loved fixture on the UK air show circuit, one of the few annual airfield-based air shows and by far the largest aviation event in East Anglia. It's a show that draws heavily on the Duxford-based Warbird fleet, perennially featuring B-17G Sally B as a tribute to the airfield's wartime past. But it's also a show that embraces the future with a long-standing emphasis on electric aviation. In recent years, it's also become a favourite of the Royal Air Force's display teams as well, with Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, the Red Arrows and Typhoon becoming regular participants. A couple of years ago, Old Buckenham held an air show that they called the Big One. Well, this one was much bigger than that.
Good stuff. So just 10 minutes to go, then we'll have the Red Arrows for you. Old Buckenham there, getting great support from the Red Arrows and other RAF assets. Fabulous show, and we've produced a short highlights programme now available on watch.plainstv.com to join the very many others, the archives stretching back 35 years. So I hope you get to enjoy that one. The last one I'd like to mention is, well, we might have time for another little special video as well to really get us in the mood for the evening flying display in just a little while. We've talked about the programmes we've released through August. Obviously back in July we live broadcast the Royal International Air Tattoo. Massive event, largest military air show in the world. We live broadcast all the aircraft movements, so all the arrivals, all the main flying display, flying days, the show days proper, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And then we hung around for the departures too. There's a total of something like 60 hours of live broadcast available on watch.plainstv.com if you've really got nothing better to do with your time. But we like to produce a highlights programme each year. Have been doing that since 2015, much like the programmes we've been talking about at Avare and Old Buckingham. And we're about to release, or later on in the year, we'll release around about a 2-hour programme of the Air Tattoo. Lots of onboard material, behind the scenes material. Fantastic show it was this year. I thought I'd give you a little taste of that as well with our highlights video from Royal International Air Tattoo 2025.
25, 30 years ago, this was a military air show. Now it is the military air show. It is the singular de facto showcase for militaries the world over. There is nowhere like RAF Fairford during this particular week in July. Nowhere else, at no other public event, will you see this breadth and variety of military aircraft.
Well, we're very much looking forward to sharing that full programme with you later on in the year from Air Tattoo, but more imminently, we're looking forward to sharing a Red Arrows display with you. So I'm going to hop back inside, pass you back over to Joe McGrath and in fact Muskie, who will take you through the Red Arrows display, and into the evening Joe will keep you informed of what's going on as we enter the evening, get a pyro display to finish off. But I need to free up Matt inside, get him up on camera. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you especially to Chris. I can see you in the chat there, our moderator. Wonderful to see you supporting as ever. And there was another message. Oh yes, Jack Rolls asked about Yeovilton programmes on the streaming service. As far as I know, all of our Yeovilton programmes are on watch.plainstv.com, along with all those highlights that I've covered today. Right, I'll hand over to the main show commentary team, and look forward to bringing you all the action tonight.
Can't wait to hear the Typhoon roar. Typhoon's going to be right there again. Current Kevin Gray. Last week mentioned here with Dwight Wendy and Joy Ruben. And the right guiding up to TV. Hello guys. Nice to see you. And follow on for now. We will say Rory Young is at the air show today. He wants to say hello to Stepdad Lee Allen and his kids Lewis and Molly. If you want to say hello to the family, by all means do. It's Joe Ayr Show on Instagram. And very shortly I'm handing the microphone over to our sport leader. He will be taking us through what is without doubt the
highlight of the weekend with the Red Arrows, and of course they will be back tomorrow. So don't forget that. We will be seeing them tomorrow as well. And Battle of Britain coming up later on together with the Typhoon. Just got to say a few thank yous as well to some more of our sponsors. Of course, without them, we just wouldn't be here. The Nats, is the UK's leading provider of air traffic control services, and that plays a crucial role in the safe and efficient movement of aircraft in the UK airspace and international regions. Each year we handle about 2.2 million flights and 250 million passengers from 14 UK airports and 3 UK centres where they provide ATC services. Our Shanwick Oceanic ATC team, based at Naas Prestwick, Scotland, delivers a high level of efficiency and safety while setting new benchmarks for traffic movement. Experience the excitement of aviation and immerse yourselves in that unique organisation where advanced technology and problem solving come together. Interested in becoming an air traffic controller? It's a good career. Looking for early career opportunities? They have all the options for you. Your future is clear to take off. Oh, good line there. Clear for takeoff. Come along and meet the team at the STEM Village. So head over towards the STEM Village. That really is where it's all happening. Everybody's over there, BA Systems as well. So the next voice you're going to be hearing on the microphone will be Squadron Leader Graham Muscat. He is commonly referred to as Red 10, and he is the team commentator for the Royal Air Force Red Arrows display team.
Good evening, I am squad leader Grey Muscat, Red 10, the team supervisor with the Royal Air Force Aerobacter team. It's the Red Arrows! It's great to be back here at Air Show for 2025. We didn't display last year, we were in Canada. Last time we displayed was 2023, so it's great to be back for 2025. I have the honour of talking through the display with you this evening. I'll give you some more information about the team, about the wider Royal Air Force, about the pilots, and of course, more importantly, I'll get your eyes into the correct piece of sky so you don't miss a single second of the action of tonight's display. The team are airborne out of Prestwick. They've just taken up. They are making themselves towards our rear over to the east. They get themselves ready. They do all the pre-show checks, get the aircraft ready, trimmed, get the smoke pod primed, ready for the show. Another busy weekend this weekend, another busy couple of weeks. Last week we were in Poland. Unfortunately we couldn't display due to the tragic accident that displayed in Poland. However, we are back in the UK this weekend. We've got Air Show tonight and tomorrow. Before then transiting over to Newcastle to take part in a fly past for the Great North Run and a display at the end of the Great North Run about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So extremely busy time on the areas, and we're in towards the last 5 weeks of the 2025 display, and so far it's been an absolute blast, and we're looking forward to finishing the season on an absolute high. A very unique point of today's show, the Royal Air Force Aerobacter team for the second time this year are using sustainable aviation fuel and hydro-treated vegetable oil, both funded by South Ayrshire Council. And why are we using sustainable fuels? Well, it's very important, as you can imagine. It reduces our emissions up to 90%, and it's also important for our energy security and non-reliance on potential adversaries. The synthetic fuel is about 15%, which is imported early, above the UK's mandate to be fueled by 10% by 2030. So that's 15% synthetic fuel in the airplanes. However, the smoke that you'll see is 100% environmentally friendly. It has the additional benefits of being biodegradable, odourless, as well as having no impact on the smoke performance and representing the very best of the UK innovation and engineering. And we do remain the only team globally to use bio-smoke. Particularly unique to us is one of the official partners, the Skylab, who are involved in the chemical analysis of HVO and the colorants under heat, and they provide the recommendations as to use their safe use and helping in part to get the project off the ground. As I said, it's only the second time in the UK that we used it. We used it at the Royal International Air Tattoo. Sorry about that, I was just talking to Red 1 on the radio, making sure that they're all ready on time. As I said, it's the second time that we've used the sustainable fuel in the UK, once at the Royal International Air Tattoo, which of course is a military show. However, this is the first time that we have used the synthetic fuel, both fuel and the 100% biodegradable smoke, at a civilian show. So, and it's a really unique point and a really good point and selling point of the air show, and of course for Scotland. When the team arrive, though, as we've already been told, they'll arrive from the rear. There are 3 types of show that we can do. It's either a full show, a rolling show, or a flat show. A full show, we need a 5.5 to 6,000 cloud base, 2.5 to 3.5 for a rolling show, and 1,000 feet for a flat show. That decision will be made by Red 1. I reckon at least he'll get a rolling show out of it, which is still an exciting and enjoyable show. When the team arrive, they'll be arriving in a large V formation, the same formation you see arriving over the Monarch when we do our national fly past called Big Battle, with all the even numbers on the right hand side and all the odd numbers on the left hand side. And of course we'll be trailing our famous red, white and blue smoke. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together, give me a huge round of applause for the 2025 Royal Air Force Aerobacter team. It's the Red Arrows! Arriving at over 400 miles per hour, Red 1 pulls them up, eases them around to right, which tells me he's starting the show rolling. And you can see that top view of that huge chevron formation. You'll now see Reds 6 and 7 collapsing behind Red 1. Reds 8 and 9 also collapse to form our world famous Diamond 9. Leading the team for his second year as Red 1 is squad leader John Bond. He's in his 7th year in the team. He's a former Typhoon pilot, former qualified flying instructor on the Tucano, where he was the display pilot in 2012. In from the right in our Diamond 9, it's the Red Arrows. On the right-hand side of Red 1 is Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Rob Thomas. Rob is in his first year on the team. He was a former Typhoon pilot, also a former qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T-Mark II. Rob has served with 3 squadron on operations over Iraq and Syria before then becoming an instructor on the Operations Conversion Unit at RAF Coningsby in Lincolnshire. You now see that centre section move forwards. It's actually the wings of the formation moving rearwards. Reds 8 and 9 move left and right to form one of the widest shapes we fly in this year's display. In from the left, the smoke comes on in the Swan. You can hear those commands from Red 1 to the rest of the team. They're almost robotic and monotone in its delivery, and that's because we fly our formation by ear rather than by eye. And it means that the pilots on the outside of the formation put their commands in the control column just a little bit earlier than those on the inside, and that allows the whole team to move as one rather than a ripple effect down the wing. Reds 8 and 9 now collapse to sit in behind Reds 2 and 3 to form the shape of one of the most iconic aircraft in history. In from the left-hand side, this is Concorde. On the left-hand side of that centre stem is Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Andrew McEwen, known as Macca. Macca is also in his first year on the team. He flew the AV-8B, which was a Harrier variant, when he was on exchange with the United States Marine Corps, before then coming back to the UK and joining the world-famous 617 Dam Buster Squadron, based at RAF Marmont, Norfolk, where he flew the Royal Air Force latest 5th generation fighter, the F-35B Lightning II. You'll see Reds 2 and 3 move upwards towards Red 1. The rear section form the Delta Wing because 2025 celebrates the 20th anniversary of the Royal Air Force Typhoon display. Therefore, in celebration of such an anniversary, in from the right, this is Typhoon. All the way at the back of the formation on the right hand side is Red 4. He's working extremely hard, having to look all through the formation at Red 1 because we take all our formation references from Red 1 and not necessarily the aeroplane that's immediately on the inside of you. Red 4 is squad leader Chris McCann. Again, he was taken from training, made straight into an instructor on the Tucano before then going through his own training and again joining 617, the Dam Buster Squadron, but this time on the mighty Tornado GR4. And Chris McCann received an Air Force Cross for his service on operations over Afghanistan. The Royal Air Force is famous for its operations in the air domain. However, these days we have a unique capability in space and cyber. And to represent that capability in from the front, in a shape representing the spacecraft, this is Apollo. There are actually 11 pilots on the Red Arrows. You've got Reds 1 through 9 displaying for you. Myself, Red 10, former Tornado GR4 pilot, former qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T-Mark II. And this is my 4th and final year in the Red Arrows. And of course we have Red 11, Wing Commander Adam Collins. He's a former Red 10, former Tornado GR4 pilot, and it's also his third and final year on the Red Arrows. Reds 8 and 9 now split left and right. Reds 6 and 7 also split towards the rear as Red 1 continues to bring them around to the left-hand side. Another great, fantastic photo opportunity. Get your cameras ready for the colourful Big Vixen. In that particular manoeuvre, the Red Arrows are flying with their air brakes out. It's a small door at the base of the aeroplane towards the rear. That holds twofold effect. The first effect means the pilots fly with a higher throttle setting, thereby producing a hotter engine gas temperature, making the smoke colours burn a lot more brightly. In addition, it disturbs the airflow outside the back of the aeroplane, and that makes the smoke billow a lot more fuller. And we use that technique in certain manoeuvres throughout the display to enhance those manoeuvres. Red 1 continues to bring them around to our right hand side. You'll say 6 and 7 once again sit behind Red 1. Reds 8 and 9 sit in trail on the rest of the formation. For one of the most popular, if not the most popular, the Red Arrows fly. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get your cameras ready to the right hand side. It's tornado time! Reds 8 and 9, roll goes. Reds 8 and 9, roll the rest of the formation. But watch for the colour change as Red 1 brings them down the line.
Little bit right.
I mentioned earlier there are 11 pilots in the Red Arrows. Of course, the Red Arrows is not just about the pilots. We have a team of over 140 personnel. 120 of them are the engineers, the logisticians, the public relations, the administrators, and they are known as the Blues due to the colour of their blue flying coverall. And there are a number of Blues here today that public relations tend to please pop along, have a word with them, find out about their roles and their careers in the Royal Air Force and of course on the Red Arrows. In addition to that, we have 11 Blues who get to fly in the back of our aircraft during in between displays when we cannot take the full engine in complement. They are known as Circus. One individual with every display is Circus 10, that's Air Specialist 1, Ewan Lewis, on the beach today, filming the display for safety and debriefing purposes. You now see the team have once again joined back up into our Diamond 9. This will be your last opportunity to get that iconic picture of us in our Diamond 9 before we start the second half of the show, which of course is the more dynamic, heart-pumping, jaw-dropping part of the show. But once again, in from the left, in the Diamond 9, it's the 2025 Red Arrows. As we go into the second half of the show, we start from the same way as last year because it proved so popular. This is the 5-4 split. And in the second half of the show, we operate in two distinct sections. Off to our left-hand side is Reds 1 through to 5, known as Enid, named after Enid Blyton's famous 5. Off to the right is 6, 7, 8 and 9, known as Hannah, named after squad leader Ray Hannah, one of the first members of the Red Arrows. He's the only team leader to lead the team for 4 years. He took the team from a 7 to a 9 and formed our world-famous Diamond 9. Enid from the left, Hannah from the right for the colourful 5-4 cross.
Colour on, go. Go.
Off to the right hand side is Enid. Keep your eye on Enid as they come back round to the centre of the display. Red 4 starts to make his way in, sit behind Red 1 as Red 5 sits in trail on Enid. Number 5, roll goes. Number 5 rolls around the smoke in Enid. Number 5 is Flight Lieutenant Dustin Wales, known as Dusty. Dusty is in his second year at the team. He's originally from Zimbabwe. He's a former Typhoon pilot with a 311 Squadron. He's an instructor on 29 Squadron and also a test pilot on 41 Squadron, all based at RAF Coningsby in Lincolnshire. As Enid leaves to our right hand side, look directly to your front. You can see the nose lights in the distance of Hannah. Reds 8 to 9 smoking red and blue around synchro. Get your cameras ready for the Hannah break. Red 6 and 8 to our left hand side, Red 7 and 9 to our right hand side. Hannah and the synchro pair are led by the synchro leader, that's Red 6 to our left, smoking white. That's squad leader Tom Hansford. Tom is in his third and final year on the team, a former Typhoon pilot, former qualified weapons instructor on the Typhoon, which means that he would use to teach all weapons tactics and technical information to the entire Typhoon force. And he is also the recipient of a Distinguished Flying Cross for his service on operations over Iraq and Syria. Each pair will now dive down to only 100 feet above the sea. They have a closing speed of over 900 miles per hour in a manoeuvre called the Hannah Pass. Reds 8 and 9 go up and down in the roller coasters. Reds 6 and 7 perform a 4-point aileron roll. Pull, go is the call from Red 6 to our right as Red 7 also pulls up to the left hand side. Red 7 is Flight Lieutenant George Hobday. They reach a height of 2,500 to 3,000 feet. George is in his second year at the team, former qualified flying instructor on the Tucano and former Typhoon pilot. The synchro pair now roll the correct way up to complete the manoeuvre called the Boomerang. As the aircraft pass in the middle, they turn away from each other, pulling hard up to 5G, turning the Boomerang into Cyclone. As the synchro pair cross, look to your right hand side, Enid running back in. Get down is the call from Red 1 as they form the inverted V. In from the left, smoking red at over 500 miles per hour, is Red 9 as he performs the Goose. Red 9 climbing high, smoking blue is Flight Lieutenant Ollie Suckling. Ollie is in his third year on the team. He's a former Typhoon Tornado pilot and former qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T Mark II. As Enid leaves to our left hand side, look directly to your front, and once again you're looking for the nose lights of the synchro pair.
Easing up.
Once again, a fantastic photo opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Get your cameras ready. The smoke comes on. They pull apart for the world famous Synchro Heart. In from the top right hand side is Red 8 as he spears the heart. Red 8 is Flight Lieutenant Rich Walker, an extremely experienced pilot, having flown Harrier, Typhoon and being a qualified flying instructor on the Hawk T Mark II. Let's give the synchro pair and Red 8 a massive round of applause for wonderful red hearts in the skies of Ayr. But the show's not over. Keep your eye on the synchro pair as they turn back towards the display line. Each aircraft will now dive down to 100 feet, that closing speed of over 900 miles per hour. They'll perform a barrel roll. They'll cross in the middle, wingtip to wingtip, only 30 meters, 100 feet. Followed by a second barrel roll in a maneuver called the double rolls. And before it gets to that. As the synchro pair move to our rear, look to your left-hand side, you've got Enid coming back towards the display area, once again joined by Reds 8 and 9.
Look on. Go.
Reds 8 and 9 roll goes. Once again, Reds 8 and 9 roll around the smoke of Enid in the corkscrew. The motto of the Red Arrows is Eclat, and that means excellence, and it means every single member of the Red Arrows, whether you've been on the team 4 days or 4 years, is striving for excellence in everything that we do. And we also like to think once we leave the team in a better place than when we first joined it. Keep looking to your left, keep looking to your right. Red 6 from the right, Red 7 from the left. Once again, 100 feet, 900 miles per hour closing speed. Each aircraft will form a barrel roll. Pass in the middle, wingtip to wingtip, only 30 meters, 100 feet, as they perform the circus. Each aircraft now pulling hard up to 6G. That means everything about them is weighing 6 times heavier than what you and I are as we stand on the side of the promenade. Red 7 on the right, smoking blue. They change blue to red, red to blue. Red 7 on our left-hand side, keeping an eye on Red 6, making sure he creates that missed distance as they complete the circus. Look to your front right, 45. You're looking for the nose lights of Enid.
Up. On. Go. And roll.
The red, white and the blue is on. Red 1 flies a barrel roll in the sky, leaving a snake-like smoke trail in the sky in a maneuver called the Serpent. Another great opportunity to see that famous red, white and blue. That is only capable due to the smoke pod under the belly of the aeroplane. That smoke pod is capable of producing approximately 5 minutes of white smoke, 1 minute of red smoke and 1 minute of blue smoke. And each of the colours has its own button on the pilot's control column. And as mentioned earlier, today we are flying with 100% environmentally friendly aviation fuel in the smoke pod. Reds 2, 3, 4 and 5 now move up alongside Red 1, looking 90 degrees along their shoulder line, pulling up to 4G. The smoke comes on from the right in the tango.
Lights on. Go.
Keep looking to your left, looking to your right. You've got Reds 6 and 9 to the left-hand side, Reds 7 and 8 to the right-hand side for the first of our newest manoeuvres for 2025. Reds 6 and 9 roll inverted for the chainsaw. Red 6 and 9 inverted for approximately 30 seconds. They're working extremely hard against that negative G. All the blood rushing to their head. Conversely, they now roll the correct way up. They apply positive G. All the blood in the head now rushing towards their feet. They're working hard against that G pants that they wear in the cockpit. Keeping an eye on Red 7 and 8 as they complete the chainsaw. In from the left-hand side, once again, Enid run back to the display line.
And 3, roll.
2 and 3, roll goes. 2 and 3, roll to the outside. Clear, go, as Reds 4 and 5 roll to the outside in one of the hardest manoeuvres for our new pilots to master each year. This is the rollbacks. As Enid leaves to our right-hand side, look directly to your front. Once again, you're looking for the nose lights of Hannah. The smoke comes on, the red and the blue from Reds 8 to 9 roll around the smoke of the synchro pair in the second of our new manoeuvres. This is the Tempest. Once again, Red 6 and 8 to our left-hand side, Reds 7 and 9 to our right-hand side. The synchro pair pull up to approximately 1,000 to 1,500 feet. They'll turn hard back towards the display line for their final manoeuvre of the show. Once again, 100 feet, closing speed, 900 miles per hour. Each aircraft will perform a bar roll, cross in the middle, followed by inverted flight in a manoeuvre simply called the crossbow. As the synchro pair roll the correct way up and move to our rear, look directly to your front. You can see the nose lights of Enid, joined by Reds 8 and 9. And once again, another great, fantastic photo opportunity, so get your cameras ready. Because Air Show 2025, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been an honour and a pleasure. Please put your hands together for the 2025 Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team. It's the Red Arrows! Red 1 puts his smoke on, he'll gather the rest of the formation, take them back to Presswork Airport, we'll refuel, re-smoke the aeroplanes, ready for our display tomorrow. As I said, it's been an honour and a pleasure to perform for you today at Air Show 2025. If you'd like any more information about the Red Arrows, of course we're across social media, Facebook and of course Instagram, RAF Red Arrows. All the pilots have their own Instagram account. Find me at RAF Red 10, follow me, be able to follow the rest of the pilots. As I said, it's my honour and pleasure to perform for you today. It's my last and fourth and final year in the Red Arrows. It's been an honour and a pleasure to represent the Royal Air Force and be part of this team. If I don't get to see you tomorrow, or I don't get to see you for the rest of my career on the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, thank you for your support over the last 4 years. Have a safe rest of your evening, safe journey home, and hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Red 10, Squadron Leader Graham Muscat. He will be back tomorrow, and as Graham said, unfortunately it's his last year in service with the Red Arrows, and we'll see him tomorrow. Just a quick announcement, if you're staying here this afterwards for the rest of the evening, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what's still to come. Of course, we still have the Typhoon. The Battle of Britain Memorial Flight will be coming through as well. And also we will be having the RAF Tutors and the extra 330 from the French Air Force. But coming up next is the Royal Air Force Falcon Parachute Display Team. And I'm going to hand over now to their commentator.
Good evening, Air. It's an absolute privilege being in Scotland today. I am Flight Sergeant Steph Irvin, and I have the honour of being part of the world-famous RAF Falcons parachute display team. As your commentator today, it's my job to make sure I get your eyes and your cameras pointed in the right direction so you can enjoy every single moment of it. Weather permitting, the RAF Falcons hope to provide a thrilling display for you today, demonstrating the skills and capability of RAF parachuting within limited space and sometimes at very short notice. The team strives to represent the very best of British, both at home and overseas, by displaying the traditional red, white and blue colours of the United Kingdom wherever we go. The RAF Falcons can conduct parachute displays from a minimum of 2,500 feet and up to a maximum of 12,000 feet. Today, the weather conditions are a little windy. However, we're planning to form a mid-show for you today, so they'll be jumping out around 4,000 feet. If you do take any photos or videos today, we'd love to see them shared on our social media panel. So on Instagram and Facebook, please remember to tag at RAF Falcons. You may have noticed some members of the drop zone team are currently on the side of the drop zone. So today, they are led by the drop zone safety officer, Flight Lieutenant Dominic Compton Davies, and assisted by survival equipment technicians, Corporal Ed Dyson and Corporal Ryan Tripp. Go on guys, give everyone a wave. They're over by our tent, have a little look over there. The drop zone team are responsible for preparing the landing area and checking the wind speed and the cloud base by tracking a red helium-filled balloon you may have seen earlier. The information gathered from the flight of the balloon allows the drop zone safety officer to calculate the direction of which the aircraft should approach and the point at which the team should exit from the aircraft. This is vital because although the canopies are very manoeuvrable, the team must be released at exactly the right point to enable them to free fall for a predetermined time and then land in the area you see in front of you today. Now, can anyone spot the plane for me? If you can see it, give me a point. The green and orange crosses that you might be able to see on the drop zone are the left and right indicators for the parachutists. This safety measure allows half the team to land near one cross and the other half on the other. The information which has been collated by the drop zone team has already been passed to the team coach, who will be briefing the jumpers as to where and when to exit from the aircraft. Whilst the aircraft climbs to the required altitude, the team will be conducting safety checks on their parachutes and the rest of their own and each other's kit, making sure all handles are visible, no straps are twisted, and all pins are in place. They'll be preparing themselves psychologically for the display, and their adrenaline will be pumping. So the team coach, Flight Sergeant Lyons, he's responsible for the directional control of the aircraft. He'll be looking out of the open door with his head in 100-mile-an-hour slipstreams. He controls the aircraft by passing instructions to the aircraft captain via the intercom. It's now his responsibility to work closely with the skill of the pilot to position the aircraft in exactly the right spot. So the RAF Falcons are very fortunate to use a variation military and civilian aircraft as their jump platforms. These aircraft are not only to make the display more interesting, but they remind the viewing public that parachuting is vital and a very real asset to modern British military air power. Today, the team will be jumping from the Dornier 228. This is the newest aircraft to the RAF Falcons fleet and our primary jump platform, provided by our defence partners, Summit Air. This dual aircraft side door exit aircraft provides everything that the RAF Falcons need to provide an exciting show for you today. Operated by a crew of 2 pilots, this aircraft can carry up to 19 passengers and flies at top speeds of 257 miles per hour, slightly faster than a Formula 1 car. So, we've got 2 minutes to go!
It's time. Time to get ready to experience the aerial skills of one of the world's greatest military parachute display teams. Get your cameras ready, because it's time to introduce the Royal Air Force Falcons.
Right then, who can see the plane? I can't hear you. Go on, you can go louder than that. I hear you now. Amazing. So the team coach is going to be looking out the door, looking for exactly the right spot to come down to see us. Very shortly, you'll see some red smoke trailing from the aircraft. The team coach, Flight Sergeant Lyons, will exit from the aircraft first. And then every 3 seconds, another RAF Falcon will follow. There's the smoke. Keep your eyes open. And there they go, the 2025 Royal Air Force Falcons Parachute Display Team. The red smoke trailing from their legs is created by smoke canisters attached to their boots, which were activated at the very last moment before jumping from the aircraft. We can see all 9 canopies safely deployed as the team immediately maneuvering into the snake formation. For 2025, the team have been working on a dynamic routine over the winter months, and we hope you enjoy the visual spectacle as much as the Falcons like flying it. They have built a snake formation by turning 180 degrees back up the jump run. Once in position, they'll call for the splits. Even numbers going left and odd numbers going right at an angle of 90 degrees. The coach will then call for another 90-degree turn on themselves, creating 2 separate snake formations. This leads into the crisscross, where both sides of the formation will turn towards each other with closing speeds of over 45 miles an hour, and then pass each other within a few feet. Then immediately they turn into dynamic signature carousel formation. This is one of the team's favourite manoeuvres and requires vast amounts of concentration and trust in one another. Go on, get your cameras out. This is the perfect photo opportunity. And the final formation of the display before landing is the Sabre Chase. You actually forming another snake, but this time with dynamic left and right turns to position themselves for the landing pattern into the arena. Look at that skill! You may see one of the parachutists has a Union Jack flag at the back. She's outside of the formation, but she will still land down here with the team. They're getting close. As the parachutists approach the drop zone, they'll now be able to hear you. So please put your hands together and give them a huge round of applause. Go on, you can cheer louder than that. Come on. So, leading the team down today is the third-year team coach, Flight Sergeant Liam Lyons. Closely followed by Sergeant Andy Lynch. Go on, get your cameras out, everyone. Next is Sergeant Mike Atkinson, followed by Sergeant Aaron Olds. Then we've got one of our Scottish parachutists here today, Sergeant Luke Riddle. I know he's got some family here. Come on, extra big cheer for Luke. And Sergeant Rich Pennygrain. And our final Scottish Falcon of the team, Sergeant Greg Ashleby. Go on, give him a huge round of applause. And finally, with the Union Jack, the officer commanding Royal Air Force Falcons, Sergeant Alice Adam Cairns. Go on, give him a huge round of applause. Go on, team. So, we haven't quite finished yet, as the team will be completing their lineup and official salute today. They will quickly remove their equipment as their helmets and goggles come off and their parachutes are gathered in. They need to secure their parachutes to make sure they don't blow away in this Scottish wind. Each Falcon wears a bracket on their leg which holds a smoke canister that you can see. Right now they're very hot, so you'll see them wearing gloves because we don't want them to burn their wee hands. So you will see that the drop zone safety officer, Flight Lieutenant Dominic Compton, he's taken his position in front of the Air Officer Scotland, Air Commodore Mark Northover. Once all the RAF Falcons have their RAF berets on, this is a sign to the drop zone safety officer that all drills have been completed. He will then call the team to line up and the safety officer, the officer commanding RAF Falcons will call them to the attention position. So once they start running, you really need to cheer them on. Go on, there they go. Go on, give them a huge cheer. Go on.
A huge thank you to the Royal Air Force Falcon display team. What a wonderful display. So just to bring you up to date what we've got left for tonight, next up is the Royal Air Force Tutor. Then after that, at 22 minutes past the hour, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight will be coming again like the Red Arrows. I said, they're coming from behind us. Then the French Air Force with the extra 330. The Royal Air Force Typhoon is about 2 minutes past 8 o'clock tonight, and closing our display at 25 past 8 is the Sydney Charles displaying team. Lots of people hitting me up on Instagram. James Johnson, wants to give a shout out to his family who are here tonight to watch the show. His partner Christina, daughters Leela, Maya, and the Maltese honey. So they brought the dog. Good for them. Jen also wants to say hello to, well, a huge shout out to his son Jack, and he's here with his camera to get some amazing shots. Don't forget that Plains TV, you see the guys here to the right of the bus, they're also here. They're live streaming the event on their YouTube channel, but it's also on their website. So if you want to get a copy of the actual show itself, you can of course do that on Plains TV. The guys really do an amazing job. They get some, that's why I don't take pictures basically, because I can't do it any better than Plains TV. Joe's also hit me up on Joe Ayr Show on Instagram. He's at Ayr just now, and he wants to shout out to his Mrs. Tony and his boy Lewis, and that's from Joe. So if you want to say hi to somebody, by all means, I'd be happy to. Also, let me know what you think of the show so far. I'll be very happy to hear what's your favourite. Of course, it's going to be the Red Arrows. But there's still lots to see and do here. So as I said, the Tutor is coming up next from the Royal Air Force, and the Tutor is a very important aircraft in the Royal Air Force because of course it's the sort of lead-in, very first step that you would take to go to flying a Typhoon or a Hawk or be anything like that, because a lot of the training from the cadets and the University Air Squadrons, that's all done on these aircraft. And it'll be coming in very shortly with Flight Lieutenant Bob Jews at the controls. So we're looking forward to that. And if you are interested, of course, in any sort of career in flying, no better place than the Ayr Show. Do go down and talk to the guys in the lower green. Everybody is represented here. The Air Cadets are here. I saw them earlier. I was an Air Cadet myself many years ago with ATC. I highly recommend it. And also the Royal Navy are here with their flying options. Of course, it's not just the Air Force that fly. And of course, the Army are represented as well. And they brought up a wonderful simulator of the Chinook aircraft. Looks really cool. So while we wait for the GROP to come in, that gives me some more time to again thank some of our very important sponsors. And Woodward are our gold sponsors. They've been here since 1998. Woodward Aircraft Engine Systems at Prestwick. They've been providing fuel control systems repair for the world's fleet of Woodward products on many of their commercial aircraft. From the turboprop aircraft down to the Boeing 787 Dreamliner and the Airbus A380. They ensure the world keeps moving. The Woodward plant at Prestwick is on its way to deliver maintenance, repairs and overall services on the latest generation of narrow-body Airbus and Boeing aircraft. The pedigree of Woodward stretches back more than 150 years. Purpose in design to energy control solutions to power a clean future for all of us. Now, their global success is driven by their core values. Integrated, we do the right things always. Respectful and accountable, they hold each other in high esteem, and we hold each other to very high standards. Humble and driven, they're confident but not arrogant, and always striving for a better. They're proud to be Woodward, so check out their website at woodward.com and come along and meet the team at the Sponsors Village today and tomorrow. I'm still waiting to see if the Tutor is going to be airborne very shortly. I'll let you know when he's coming running in. Of course, another very big presence in Prestwick is GE Aerospace. It's a world-leading provider of jet providers, but we'll talk about GE Aerospace a little bit later on, because now if you look straight ahead of you, ladies and gentlemen, lights are flashing. Here it comes. The Royal Air Force Tutor display team. Flying in at nearly 200 miles an hour from our center, pitches the aircraft up, and over into a loop. You may be able to spot the aircraft on the left and right, front and rear as the pilot completes his final checks, and now he's moving straight down the line. Those yellow bars, by the way, everybody's asking me what they are, that is the display line. So the aircraft should not come forward of those. So into the inverted, very uncomfortable position to fly there. That's when you find that pen that you dropped a couple of hours later. It'll just pop up on your canopy right in front of you. Hanging from his straps. Inverted pass has been finished. Now the next two maneuvers are what we call the wing over and the ballistic roll, which Bob can use to gain the energy for the next part of the sequence. This displays the tutor requires careful energy management due to its low power to weight ratio, because the aircraft is not the most powerful display you're going to see tonight, and you'll see that Lieutenant Bob Dews does a very, very good job of it. We're not displaying. Bob is a qualified QFI flying instructor on 115 Squadron based at RAF Wittering, where he trains frontline pilots into QFIs. And during various careers, Bob has amassed over 8,000 flying hours. He's flown 15,000 hours of that at air shows, apparently. 15 types of aircraft, 2 ballistic rolls. If you add up all these hours, that's about a year in the air. So watch now as he comes around for a half Cuban. Get your cameras ready, some great shots coming up. And again, the RAF Tutor display team have their own chalet, shall we call it, over in the lower green. Now pulling back on the power, boot full of rudder, bring the aircraft around into the hammerhead. Now pitching the aircraft up again. You'll notice it's all about engine management and keeping that aircraft flying forward, because at the top of those maneuvers he's running out of speed and he hasn't got a big throttle that he can just push forward and pull the aircraft through. So that means he will have to point the aircraft down pretty rapidly as he pitches the aircraft up again. Stall turn at the top and a wing over, bring the aircraft back down. The tutor is constructed of carbon composite materials, and it's powered by a 180 horsepower light combing engine. Now a slow roll as he goes down the display line. And now he'll pitch the aircraft up again. He's got to translate all the height that he gains into speed to give him maneuvers. So every time you see him pitch the aircraft up, that means he's going to come bowling back down the other side and do a maneuver. So again, speed building up. The 6th FTS is also engaged in other essential defense tasks. It does frontline missions, rehearsals and training of mission support crew. And Babcock International Group, who service this aircraft and are very much part of the team, have a variety of engineering and managerial careers opportunities available at those Royal Air Force bases around the UK. If you want to find out more, have a look at the Babcock website. They're heavily involved in the tutor display team. Tutor display, as I said, is operated by number 6 Flying Training Group in partnership with Babcock. If you go to University Air Squadrons, this will be the aircraft you fly. There are 13 air experience flights across the UK. These flights up to about 20,000 cadets each year. So 20,000 potential frontline pilots are passed through these aircraft. Think about it, this could be you. Between the ages of 13 and 20 years old, 50 cadets a year are now being taught to fly the tutor up to solar standard. watch as Bob brings the aircraft back around for another slow roll. It's a skill that you'll develop over time. It's a combination of elevator, rudder and ailerons all working together. It's good to see the aircraft in this sort of lighting conditions with the dusk and these nav lights fully blazing away. You get a good view of what the wind is doing at height there. You see when he turned, it caught it and it just sort of blew it to the right. As I said, not incredibly powerful or incredibly heavy. With 1 minute left to fly, we're going to see the rest of what Bob has to turn. For those of you considering going to the universities, there are 15 university air squadrons across the UK, and on the squadron, students are taught to fly the tutor, as I said, by highly experienced military instructors. So it's worth mentioning that the University Air Squadron syllabus includes solo aerobatics. They also provide a huge opportunity for personal development, as well as a wide variety of adventure training in the UK, and not just flying, but also expeditions across the globe. A little bit of crazy flying there, stirring the cockpit, using these controls and a little bit of rudder. And today the Royal Air Force is recruiting for multiple rewarding and demanding professions. It has an exciting future with continuing development of combat, utility and maritime patrol aircraft, as well as the UK Space Command. So as Bob heads off back to land at Prestwick, a huge thank you to the Royal Air Force Tutor Display Team, and we'll be seeing them back tomorrow. And as I said, go lower ground behind us, and they'll be very, very happy to talk to you. It really is a good way of getting into. If you haven't done the Air Training Corps, I would highly recommend going to have a chat with the guys from the University Air Squadrons. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people have been looking forward to the next item up because it's one of the highlights. It is, of course, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight with the Lancaster, the Mark 19 Spit, and also the Hurricane. So just been informed by the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, we lost the Hurricane, and we've got one of our representatives here today. Paris, come talk to me. What's happened to the Hurricane?
Oh no, nothing's happened to the Hurricane. It was always scheduled to just be the Lancaster and the Spitfire this evening. Okay, so it's the Mark 19 Spitfire, I'm right with that? Absolutely, the Griffin-powered Spitfire, and then obviously Lancaster PA474 with the 4 Merlins. Is it really a Spitfire if it hasn't got a Merlin in it? Of course it's a Spitfire. Okay, now Paris, you guys are here, you're on the ground, you've got that very distinctive black inflatable tent. What are you doing over there? So we're here to talk to everyone that's here about the BBMF, what it is, what we do, what we stand for. We've got a range of merchandise available. You can come and talk to the team. We're just happy to be here and be here in Scotland. We only get up here once a year. You've got a very exclusive range. I went over to you today and you've got these slate coasters and one of your team members make it, yeah? Absolutely. So it's just something that as the PR team we've started doing this year to raise money for the Mark Long Trust. Obviously, after the sad incident last year, we just want to do something to keep his memory alive. So every sale goes towards that charity and hopefully putting disabled persons in the air. So tell me a bit about that. I don't know about this Mark Long Trust. So you can explain who Mark was and what he did, obviously, to the people here. Absolutely. So Mark Long, Squadron Leader Mark Long, he was one of our fighter pilots on the flight. He was due to take over command of BBMF this October. Obviously, events of last year have meant that that's obviously not possible. So in tribute to him, we've been working with the Flying Scholarship for Disabled People's charity. It costs £15,000 to put a scholarship together for someone to be able to go flying. And it's something that we'd like to keep raising money for every year going forward as a long-lasting tribute to Mark.
Okay, well, you have my wholehearted support with that, and I will be mentioning that throughout the weekend as well. So if you want to know more about the Battle Memorial Flight, as I said, head over towards Long Green. It's very near the Army have got a really big tent. Look at that with a big flag on it, where the Army. Are you near there?
Yeah, we're not far from there at all. They've actually got an inflatable tank behind us as well. So if you just head over to the military village, we're all there. We're all showing our support all together.
Why has the Army got such a bigger tent than you?
We had a bigger tent last year.
Okay, and also I got to say a special thanks to one of your new sponsors who's helped you with a new vehicle as well. And you know that's a big part of your job, because you guys are traveling all over the UK. Tell us a little bit about your new sponsors for your vehicle as well, because I think it's right that we give them a big up.
Absolutely, they've been absolutely incredible for us this year. So Leeds Commercial Vehicle Hire, they've provided a van to us. It's something that for the last 4 years that I've been in this role, we've not had a vehicle available to us, and we've really struggled getting around the country. This year they've provided a sponsored vehicle for us. It's got a beautiful wrap on it as well. It represents all of our aircraft, and it's just an absolute wonderful thing to now have as part of the team and part of our stand as well.
I think it's important to thank the sponsors, because without them it'd be so difficult to do this job. So what's their name? Say it one more time.
That's Leeds Commercial Vehicle Hire, so a big thank you to them.
All right, big up for them. So we're listening out on the radio and the frequency, and hopefully they'll be along very shortly with the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, that beautiful Lancaster PA 474, and the Griffin-powered Spitfire, the Mark 19, very unique blue colour photo reconnaissance version of the famous Spitfire engine. It actually was the only Spitfire that flew without any cannons, because it was its speed that actually had it arrive. So I'm looking out to my left, straight down the beach, and in my about 11 o'clock I can see the very distinctive shape of the Lancaster. I know I did say earlier it was arriving crowd rear. Looks like there's been a change to that. Who knows? Whether maybe they just wanted to fly around ahead. But if you look forward and look to your left, very slightly to your left, just coming around the head now is PA 474. Now, I don't really like talking over these aircraft very much, so as they come through, I'm going to keep as quiet as I can, and let's just sit back and listen to the wonderful sound of these 4 Merlins and 1 Griffin engine, and think of the sacrifice of the young men that went to war in them. Ladies and gentlemen, from your left, Lancaster Spitfire Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. Commentators dream that. No music for them. We don't need it. So as they come around and back, I'm sure they're going to stay in line of stern like that with the Spitfire tucked up underneath. Let's talk about PA 474. This, of course, is one of only 2 surviving Lancasters remaining in the world, the other over in Canada, and over 7,377 of these aircraft were built. 474 was built in the Vickers Armstrong factory down in Hordern, completed on the 31st of May in 1945. And the war, of course, in Europe had ended by then, so the aircraft was modified for Far East operations. So after being configured to operate in the Far East, then the war in the Far East ended. So combat operations ended before the aircraft could be deployed, and it was stored with just 3 hours and 10 minutes on its airframe. So it was brand new. So from September 48 to February 52, after conversion work, it then started conducting aerial survey mapping work out in the East and South Africa with 82 Squadron. It racked up about 2,000 hours on the airframe doing that, which is still not a lot on an aircraft like this, before returning back to the UK. And then it was loaned to Flight Refueling Limited with the intention of converting it into a pilotless target drone, so that we're going to use it to shoot it down as a drone. Now, thankfully, saner heads prevailed, and the use of it as a target drone was cancelled, and then it was allocated to Cranfield College back in 1954, where she was modified for experimental aerofoil section. So they were using it as a sort of testing for new airframes and how they worked in the wind. So there was a lot of modifications made to it at Cranfield, as you can imagine. And it served in that capacity for up to 10 years at Cranfield. But even in those 10 years, it only racked up another 100 hours, so that wasn't a lot on its airframe. Then in '64, it was adopted by the Air Historical Branch, and it went on static display for the RAF Museum. So she was flown down to Henlow for storage in the open air, and just awaited the opening of the museum. So the museum actually hadn't been built, and the aircraft was there before it. '65, the commanding officer of 44 Squadron, that was the first ever unit equipped with Lancasters, gained permission for the aircraft to be transferred to the care of that squadron. And the aircraft was found to be structurally sound for flying. So after a time with 44 Squadron, thankfully the journey was coming to an end, because the refurbishment to join BBMF started in 1973, initially down at Cotteshall, before moving with the flight to Coningsby in 1976. And then in 1975, PA 474 was officially adopted by the City of Lincoln, and permission was granted for the aircraft to display the coat of arms, which is still on the aircraft today, and it will always be there, regardless of which colour scheme it wears. And as you can see, it's now painted on the port side as Lancaster Bill, which was the nose art depicting a kangaroo in Wellington boots playing bagpipes, and that represented the mixed nationalities of the Scottish, the Australian and the Welsh of the crew at the time. Which was W5005, and that flew 51 operations with 460 Squadron, the Royal Australian Air Force, from Binbrook, and then it was transferred to 550 Squadron at Nord Killingholme. So as the Lancaster moves away, look to your left, you can see the very distinctive outline of the beautiful Mark 19 Griffin-powered Spitfire. This is PM 631. Spitfire PR-19. PM631 is thought to have been built at Reading, and it was delivered to Southampton in May of 1944, where it appears to have been used for just testing. Although it did not serve operationally, it represents a similar high-altitude photographic reconnaissance Spitfire, which did. PR-19s, of course, were unarmed, but could fly at over 370 miles an hour. Now you might think, Joe, 370 miles an hour, that's fast, but surely a Focke-Wulf or something like that would catch it. But here's the catch, it was doing 370 miles an hour at 40,000 feet. With a fully pressurized cockpit, it had a range of 1,500 miles, so speed was its weapon. By March of 46, 631 was at RAF Benson, where it remained until May of 49, and then it was issued to 203 Advanced Flying School. And after being modified for meteorological work, she was flown by civilian pilots with the temperature and humidity monitoring flight. That's a real thing. Based at Houghton Park and Woodvale from 1951 to 1957. The THUM, as it was known, T-H-U-M, flight, made daily ascents up to 30,000 feet, and that gathered a lot of meteorological information. This is what we had before satellites. In July of 57, 631 was flown down to Biggin Hill from Duxford by the World War II Fighter Ace Group Captain Jamie Rankin, DSO and DFC, bar in formation with two other THUM flights, PS 853 and 915, and they formed what was called a historical aircraft flight, and that was what evolved into what we see today, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. That was the original genesis of BBMF. And of course, like all BBMF aircraft, they are still Royal Air Force aircraft. They are still serviced by Royal Air Force engineers. They're based all out of RAF Coningsby, and it's your taxpayers' money that's paying for them as a flying dedication to the men and women of the Royal Air Force in the Second World War who gave so much. So that makes PM631, it's the longest continuing service aircraft of the BBMF, and it still remains in the colour scheme she wore on the 11th of July back in 1957 when the flight was established. We do have older aircraft, specifically like the Mark II Spitfire, but they have not continuously served with BBMF in their flying careers, so this Spitfire holds that honour. And as I said, its colour is authentic to its own history and tells the story of the founding of the Battle of Britain. Now from the right, the Lancaster. What a great shot over the Firth of Clyde with the Isle of Arran in the background. On the starboard side of PA 474, it wears the 50th Squadron code VNT. These being the code letters of the aircraft in which Flying Officer Doogie Milkin flew 27 of the 35 operational tours that he did with 50 Squadron. So watch as they join, coming back in for what should be the final pass. So Paris from the BBMF has absolutely told me that this is not the final pass, so she knows, I don't. And they'll be coming together, as you can see. The Spitfire is just tucked in underneath. Flying line astern. Now I think they're going to come back for one more run down the flight line. They wouldn't gather up like that unless they were, I'm pretty sure. And again, I'm just going to keep quiet as they come through, and I'd like you to think 19, 20, 21-year-old men boarding these aircraft with very low survival rates, and they knew it, continually pressing home the war in Europe so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we have today. So I've just been talking to our friends from the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, and the good news is the crews are actually staying here tonight. So they'll be landing at Prestwick after the show. So if you're going past the airport, you can lean up against the fence and see the aircraft, take a picture. But they will be back tomorrow. In fact, they're opening the show tomorrow at around 1:30. And we'll get a look at that beautiful Airborne PR19 color scheme in the daylight. It's quite dazzling. Now they're going to come back around, come from right to left, and then they're going to head out and head towards us and do a break. And you cannot overestimate the importance of the aircraft's engines. The Merlin engines, of course, 4 of them on board the Lancaster, and the move on to the Griffin engine, which was a lot bigger, a lot more powerful. But it was the Merlin engines really that won the Second World War, not just powering the Lancasters, but so many other aircraft, the Mosquitoes, all of the Spitfires up to Mark 12s. And then after Mark 12s, they went on to the Griffin. But without the Merlin, without a doubt, the war would have been lost. It was a war-winning engine. So Rolls-Royce have to take a thank you for that. So now I am pretty certain that what the aircraft are going to do is come straight towards us, towards the center line, and then they will break left and right. So watch as the aircraft come towards us now. And the Lancaster, I've been told, is going to continue straight on. So this is what I was talking about earlier. It's going to come from behind us? No, it's going to come from in front of us. So watch the Lancaster as it flies straight over the top of us, and the Spitfire will break off. Ladies and gentlemen, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. How cool is that? That is like the best. So like I said, tomorrow the Lancaster will be opening the show. Who knows where it's going to come from? Could come from behind me, in front of me, to the left, to the right. It's definitely coming from the left. All right, Paris. So go down and see the guys from the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. We're very, very happy to have you here all weekend. And if you have any questions, and do get down because they have some pretty beautiful merchandise as well. And of course, you're supporting the flight. That's the whole point of, they're not selling it so they can all go out for a curry tonight. They're selling it so the aircraft themselves can keep flying. So please go down, see the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, and donate to keeping this historical aircraft in the air. Okay, so now we're going to move on to a very different type of flying, very high energy, very high maneuvering, and it means that it's time for the Extra 330. We're going to go bang up to date with the aircraft. The Extra 330 is considered, well, I don't know if you're MX or if you're some other aircraft manufacturer, the ultimate aerobatic aircraft. It's a derivative of the 300. Designed by Willie Extra, and basically it meant the end of the pit special. And I'm very pleased to welcome our visitors from the French Air Force here, and they have thankfully, thank God, brought their own commentator, so he knows what he's actually talking about, and he's going to introduce you now to the team and to the pilot.
Hi everyone, I'm Captain Savajano Anthony, call sign Jano. I'm really pleased to be here with you and with Joe. Thank you, Joe, for all you've said during this air show. You can see in front of you the Extra 330 on board Captain Denis, call sign Bryce. He's going to perform his freestyle air show demonstration, meaning that all the aerobatics he's doing Sorry, I was talking with the pilot, so I'm also the safety pilot, so I am on the radio as well with him to make sure he's performing an amazing air show for you guys.
Now as we watch the Extra 300 come down, that snap roll rate is incredible. How fast can he roll that aircraft?
Well, Joe, this aircraft is able to roll at 420 degrees per second.
So in 1 second you can go around 1.5 times.
That's right, you are good at mathematics, Joe.
That's about it, I can't cook. Wow, what is that? I've never seen that maneuver. He's on his side and rotating as well. What's that called?
I don't know.
No, he's just making it up, isn't he?
This is freestyle, Joe.
Oh, okay. So
You can imagine whatever you want and you try it in flight, and if it works.
now, as he's pitching the aircraft up, you can see it's accelerating into the vertical. It's got a light combing engine, but what's the power to weight ratio? Can you accelerate as you're going up?
Yes, sure, the power to weight ratio is more than 1, so the aircraft weighs around 600 kilograms. Sorry for you guys for the pounds. And the engine is 315 horsepower.
Now that's what you do with your feet. You give the aircraft a boot full of rudder and it tumbles through. But also, as you saw him coming down and transition into that maneuver, he had something called negative G. Positive G is where you're being pushed down into the sea. But if you do that outside turn like that, it's what's called negative G, where you're being pushed up. What is the aircraft rated for, positive and negative?
Yeah, we don't like negative Gs as pilots. So for this aircraft, it can sustain up to plus or minus 10 Gs.
But a person can't sustain that for more than a couple of seconds, surely.
No, you have to train, you have to...
And there you go, that's the inverted G I'm talking about. You see he's on the outside, so all your blood is coming up from your feet and your body and it's rushing into your head. It's hugely uncomfortable.
Yes, and there is nothing to do to sustain. I mean, there are no specific maneuvers you can do with your body.
Now the aircraft as well, as you can see those snap rolling, this isn't fly-by-wire nonsense, is it? This is all, I've got a stick, the stick's got a wire, the wire goes to the wing. That's how you make this aircraft roll.
Yes, it's always the muscles and with mainly the arms for sure.
So you can tell an extra pilot because they've got really big arms.
Yeah, that's it. You're right, Joe.
Now again, I'd sort of call that a launchevac, maybe a little bit with a wing over tucked in, but this freestyling is very, very, very entertaining in an aircraft with this power and this control. And a pilot, what's his background? Obviously he's good at competition aerobatics, but what was he doing before that?
Yes, before joining the French aerobatic team, Bryce was a fighter pilot on the Mirage 2000D version, which was dedicated for air-to-ground mission. He has a bit more than 3,500 flight hours, and he's in the team. He has been in the team for 7 years now.
You just saw a beautiful prop hang there where he's just pulling the aircraft power back enough to make it just hang in the air. That's a real good airmanship there. And then he gave it a boot full of rudder, pointed the nose down, and again, look, just using the power, not all of the power, just enough to make the aircraft hang in the air like a helicopter. 4-point hesitation roll, and the aircraft, the Extra 330, it has a very, very long, what we call an aileron. It's nearly the whole length of the wing. Is that what gives it that snappy roll?
Yes, the aileron are really massive. It represents more than 80% of the trailing edge of the wing. Compared to a regular aircraft, the aileron are something like 10% of the trailing edge of the wing.
And you were telling me it's like you see in Formula One with the big fat tires.
Yes, if we compare that to race cars, definitely it's Formula One because it's light, powerful, and it has no assistance, no comfort, no air conditioning, no heating, nothing.
And again, you can see the control as the aircraft is tumbling down in almost a flat spin, and then he just points the aircraft down, snap rolling the aircraft around. Now, very shortly, we're going to be hearing from the cockpit. And we'll be doing some live chatting, and he's going to be talking. I hope his English is good. Is his English good? We'll find out in a minute.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. It's Captain Great Colpine Bright. It's an honor, and I'm very proud to be in front of you tonight to represent the French Captain. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
De rien.
And thank you very much, and thank you for your friendship and being here. So, for the next and final maneuver, what are we looking at?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can take your cameras in front of you. Bryce is going to draw an amazing heart.
Now there you go, it's not only the red arrows that can do a heart. Ladies and gentlemen, a French heart.
And he's not done yet. The spur in heart.
Well, that is amazing. Who'd have thought an extra 330 could do something so beautiful? Now, you guys are coming back tomorrow, yeah? You're going to be displaying tomorrow?
Yes, sure, tomorrow around 5 p.m.
Okay. And again, more tumbling maneuvers. It's just so powerful. You can see the way that you can literally just stop and then accelerate. We have a kids game over here called Scalextrics, and it looks like Scalextrics. It looks like it's stopped, it's going, it's stopped, it's going. And again, this is just working the power now, gently pulling back on the throttle, letting the aircraft hang, and then kick your foot around, and then inverted, looking down, got a good line on the yellow markers, knows where the crowd line is, and coming back in for a final goodbye.
And Bryce is saying goodbye to you. Thanks for your applause. I hope you enjoyed the show. This was Bryce from the French Air Force aerobatic team.
So he enjoyed that so much, he's coming back for one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then, we'll make it 13 because he unwound the last one, he went the other way. So technically it was only 13.
Yes, the count is 13. Thank you, Joe. Okay. I see you tomorrow.
Oui, merci.
Merci beaucoup. Merci à tous. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you to the French Air Force, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give them a round of applause. Sacre bleu. The only other thing I know in French is deux pressions, s'il vous plaît. That's it. So, as the extra 330 heads back towards the runway, that means, ladies and gentlemen, one of the highlights of the show, and why we put this show on so late in the evening. Joe, why have you done it so late in the evening? It's dark now. Well, because coming up next is the Eurofighter. And what does Eurofighter do well in the dark? It glows. The EJ200 engine, over 40,000 pounds of thrust and reheat, and a really big flame coming out the back. That's why we do it, and the noise. So the Royal Air Force Typhoon display team will be coming very shortly. I'm just going to check with Les Garside-Beatty, our flying display director, and find out in which direction will the Typhoon be coming. I am 100% confident now that the Typhoon is coming from behind us, because I talked to somebody who actually knows what they're doing. So from behind us, you probably will see it coming. In fact, I think I can see its lights way off in the distance. So this is the Royal Air Force FGR-4, and flown by Squadron Leader Nathan Sawyer. And look from your right. Ladies and gentlemen, protect your ears. The Royal Air Force Typhoon. I love noisy airplanes, and this is the noisiest airplane we're going to get. So as you can see, the aircraft has arrived at crowd rear. And watch as the aircraft now goes down into a double corkscrew. And Nathan's going to bring the aircraft into a double corkscrew. It just looks so much better at night, doesn't it? It's really good. Now watch as he comes past, flat out, full reheat. Afterburner off. Then the reheat lights again. Watch as he comes down from the loop. And after that 45-degree barrel roll, watch as he comes setting himself back up from the left into an aileron roll. One, two, three, 4, 5 aileron rolls. 1,890 degrees of rolls in total if you add all 5 aileron rolls together. Now get ready for the on-crowd dirty barrel roll. He's going to slow the aircraft down to below 300 miles an hour. The landing gear is going to be deployed as Leighton's going to roll the aircraft up and then towards the route bring the gear back up. Full reheat engaged again. Yep. We talked about that negative and positive G there. You just saw the outside part of that loop. Again, it was negative G, so the aircraft pulling itself away from us. Now watch as he's slowing the aircraft down. Reheat is off. Coming back in. Now reheat's back on. It's so easy to tell, isn't it? The big thing, the thing lights up at the back. He's going faster. So watch as the aircraft speeds up. So he's going to come back in a fast pass. Into knife edge, inverted. Now he's going to be coming back into the slower part. This is where he will do his off-crowd barrel roll slow pass. Or may not, as he's just hit the engines again, so this looks like the fast pass. Yep, definitely the fast pass. It's very fast. Definitely slowing down for this one. That's what you're setting himself up for. So if you've got your binoculars here, have a look at the canards at front. This is where the fly-by-wire system is kicking in big time and keeping the aircraft from pitching down. And the canards are taking a lot of information in from all the sensors on the aircraft, so he can just slowly push the aircraft forward. But of course, he has over 40,000 pounds of thrust, so what he'll do now is just push the go button. There's the go button, and just pull out of it. So as you can see, going vertical with this aircraft is not an issue for Squadron Leader Nathan. He just engages those EJ200s and the aircraft will pretty much go as fast as he wants it to go. And in a moment we're going to see exactly what that means in a vertical climb. Whole of the fleet going through a big radar upgrade at the moment, which is going to make a big difference to its longevity on the battlefield. But right now we're just going to sit back and watch as the Eurofighter positions itself crowd center. He's rolling back in from the left. And of course the Typhoon represents the cutting edge, together with the F-35 of the Royal Air Force's fleet at the moment, the 4.5 generation aircraft. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming from your left for the last time, and watch this departure, he is going to pitch the aircraft up and climb to 10,000 feet in about 4 seconds. That is how you leave an air show. Vertical, going at 600 miles an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, the Royal Air Force Typhoon display. He is up there. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to our final act of the evening, and we're definitely slowing it down on the speed scale here, because we're going from a very loud, fast, massively powered jet engine to a powered glider, 2 of them. But here's the thing, these gliders have fireworks attached to them. So that means they will be entertaining us not only with their grace and beauty in the air, but also fireworks. And who doesn't like fireworks? So what we're going to do is welcome in very shortly, not right now, because obviously the Typhoon will be clearing the area. And while they're doing that, that gives me a chance to give you an update on what's going to happen tomorrow if you're coming back. So tomorrow the flying starts at 1:30, 13:30, as they like to say around here, with the Battle of Britain Memorial flight, the Lancaster and the Spitfire. My good friend Hamish is here with WeDram, the Cessna 171 or 172, sorry, with the floats, and he'll be actually landing on the water here in front of us. The RAF Falcon display team, we saw them earlier, and they were amazing. The Falcon parachute display team, thank you very much. Strike Masters, we didn't see them tonight, but we will see them tomorrow, 2 of them. The amazing display from the Royal Canadian Air Force in the C-130J. We have a Yak-52s, we have the Harvard, we have the Royal Navy Black Cats, and the Harvard is coming from the Royal Navy Historical Flight. The RAF Tutor will be back tomorrow, as will the A-56. Now this is a very, very interesting aircraft. It's a warbird. The A-26 Intruder is coming here. And who we're going to see now, the Sydney Charles display team, they will be back tomorrow as well. We have an auto gyro at 4 o'clock, the Merlin display, helicopter display team from the Royal Navy at 4 o'clock. And everybody wants to know, what time are the red arrows on tomorrow, Joe? Well, it is at 16:27, or 4:30 to you and me. Also, we saw them practicing earlier, I don't know if you were down here, and the United States Air Force have flown the C-130J all the way over from the United States to do this display, and we have to thank a very persistent gentleman on my left-hand side here. Professor Cox, tell me about this C-130J coming tomorrow. Where did you get them from?
Well, we got them from the Air National Guard in Kentucky.
So they've flown from Kentucky to here to do the show?
They have, but part of a tasking order, so they were going to be across here anyway, but the reason they're across here is because we have the air show, and they wanted to come here anyway, so they built it into their program of their military activity.
Excellent. We're looking forward to them. And Jeff will be back tomorrow. He'll be doing the commentary for them as well. And then after that, I'm pleased to say the French are back again. Sacre bleu. The 330, and closing the show tomorrow is the aircraft you just saw, the Typhoon, and that will be at 17:25. So a full flying display tomorrow, but get here early because, as we know, traffic's not great, and also there's so much to do on the lower green before the flying even starts. The STEM Village, tell me, Jeff, what's going on in the STEM Village tomorrow?
So we've got all the aerospace companies around the Prestwick Aerospace Hub, other companies around Glasgow as well. We've got Ayrshire College, we've got lots and lots of different things going on, all to make you guys see what a STEM career in aerospace could look like. There are people there who are going to tell you about some of the most amazing career opportunities in STEM at Prestwick. Phenomenal jobs, phenomenal pay, and really enjoyable too. Seriously cool. So if you go in there, there are going to be so many people wanting to talk to you, tell you what they do, and all about that wonderful stuff, science, technology, engineering, and maths, which Joe and I love, don't we, Joe? We love that STEM stuff. Yeah, that's Joe saying he loves maths. Well, we'll have a rethink about that, eh?
Thanks, Jeff. And I have to say, of course, without our sponsors, this event just simply would not happen. And Thales UK, as I said, they're global technology leaders in advanced technology for the defence, aerospace, cyber and digital sectors. And in 2024, the company generated a revenue of over 20 billion. And without their support, simply this would not be happening. The UK has a team of over 7,000 experts, 4,500 highly skilled trained engineers located across 16 sites, and each year Thales invests over 575 million into the UK economy. Thank you, Thales. And Ashley Scotland Limited. Now, they are a locally based main contractor covering a diverse range of construction projects and sectors, including affordable housing, residential, education, healthcare, leisure and industry, and they're very proud of the employment and supply chain opportunities they've provided over the years. And they are delighted to be the main sponsors of the International Ayr Show Festival of Flight for the 3rd year running. Fantastic event, brings a world of events to the local area, they say, and we're thrilled to be involved again. If you want to know more, have a look at ashleyscotland.co.uk. Now, I have been, as you can see, very busy tonight. Lots of people flying in front of me, and it's sort of what I got paid to do, to talk about the aircraft in front of me. But also, lots of people have been sending us requests to say hello on my Instagram. You can reach out anytime if you want at Joe Ayr Show. I'd really like to know what you thought of the show so far. Do tell us what your favourite display was. This one's from Jenny. Jenny wants to say happy 20th wedding anniversary to her amazing husband Bobby. And that's thank you from Jenny. Also, William Gibson has reached out. The Erskine Veterans Home. Shout out to the Erskine Veterans Home, who cared for her dad, Tom Gibson, before he passed last month. And the air traffic controller, he was here for 23 years, finishing his time in Prestwick. We'll miss that local hero. Also, we want to say a shout out to Resident Evil 9, who are releasing on the 27th next year for our niece Grace. Apparently it would make her very happy. I'm sure it would. Also, lots of people calling in about or sending us information about the traffic on the way out, and they're saying it's already getting busy, so thanks for the update on that. This is from Gary Chatwick, and Gary wants a shout out for his beautiful wife, Carolyn Kale Chatwick, a Locan Alloway girl. And we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, guys. We've had fun putting it on for you, but you can come back tomorrow and see the rest of it. Rachel Durkin wants a shout out to Charlie D. Hey Charlie, it's your 11th birthday. What a great way to spend your birthday. Happy birthday, mate. I hope you had a good time, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. So as I said, very shortly we will be having our gliders coming in, and they will be able to entertain us as we wind down from today. Jamie Lee wants to say hi to Tabitha Jack from her sister Jamie Lee. Simply done. Very nice. And also Cameron Rondens. He wants to do a shout out for his friend Sean D, who has lost, get this, 9 stone on his first weight loss journey. What? Well done for you, mate. 9 stone. I wish I could do that. And that's a milestone for him. So Sean D, keep up the good work, mate. And if I find you drinking full fat Coke, I'm going to let you know what I think of that. Shout out to the Anderson family and to Gillian. That's from Claire Anderson. And also from, they want to say welcome back to Mom. This is from Mark Kelvin. And welcome back to Mom, to Sharon Charlton and her dog Tracy, who are back from Leicester, continuing their search for their military man this year. Well done. There's a lot about here this week. So, very shortly we'll be having the gliders coming in to us, and I think they're coming from the right. Everyone in the Flying Control Committee pointing out to my right, and I can definitely see 2 Grop gliders. Now they're powered gliders, they have very long wings, so they are very efficient in the air, but they do have motors, Rotax engines that gently pull them through the air. So to close the show, we are going to sit back, relax, and enjoy the music to these. I will not be commentating over them. This is more about enjoying the pyrotechnics and enjoying the beauty and the grace of the Sydney Charles display team. So, coming in from your right, ladies and gentlemen, get your cameras ready. It's time for Pyrotechnics from Motorized Gliders. So look straight ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Rising up. You're going to use that height to give maneuverability. Let's sit back, relax, and enjoy the Sydney Charles display team. So, not to be outdone by the Red Arrows or the French Air Force, Sydney Charles themselves also have a version of the Heart. What a beautiful way to start the display. Now, as you can see, these Grop 105 gliders, highly modified because most gliders don't have LED strips on them. These ones do. Gives them good visibility from our point of view. We can see them clearly. These LED strips are both on the fuselage and the wings, and what a wing that is. That's a pure glider wing. It means with very little power you can keep yourself airborne. So here they come now. These, by the way, are smoke canisters. These are not generated like all the other aircraft we saw today using the heat of the engine. They're actually using smoke canisters. And here we go with the fireworks. Sorry to interrupt your display viewing, but a notice to all vehicles on site. There is no at them. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. What a wonderful way to finish a wonderful first day. And thanks to the gliders, to our visitors from France, to our visitors from the Royal Air Force. And tomorrow, of course, you can all come back tomorrow in the sunshine and we'll do it all over again. And there'll be even more aircraft. Do let me know what you thought of the show. As I said, I'm on Instagram, Joe Ayr Show, and let me know what your favorite act was. Because if they're really good, we might invite them back for next year. Have a safe journey back, and remember, roads are going to be busy. Take your time. Have a safe journey home. See you tomorrow.